morning after the 49ers' massive win over the Bears, 38-13, the final score. San Francisco gets it done, and now we get to analyze. We watched them tape this morning, and we have to be quick with it because the 49ers now face the Los Angeles Rams on Thursday. So it's a short week, and it's a chance to scrap and claw their way back into the division race. While I was watching the game yesterday, while I was at Levi's, Lombardi herself was
on a plane.
Flying. She's got the Deli Board shirt on with the saloon font. That's actually mine. Adam over at Deli Board, shout out to him over on Folsom, gave it to me. So we've been watching some of the tape, Margot, and I think, Eric Gomes is already excited to see you, so this is perfect.
Woo! Hi, Eric.
Margot might be holding the camera for part of this video. Anyway, you watched the game, the first 3 possessions of it.
Yes.
This morning with that awesome breakfast sandwich from
Bandit.
Yeah, Bandit was really good. Initial thoughts?
I don't know why Isaac Guerendo hasn't been played more frequently. No offense to CMC, but he looked like a thoroughbred right out of the gate.
Isaac Guerendo did look awesome yesterday. Now he's got the foot sprain. We're going to talk a little bit about that. We're over here at Dolores Park. I could show you guys a little bit of Dolores as we talk about the Niners. So there's Guerendo. There is Talanoa Hufanga, who was all over the field. Like, when I put on this tape yesterday, Talanoa, I think, immediately changed the 49ers defense. Now, I asked Malik Mustafa about it, and Malik is the other safety, right? So they started Hufanga instead of Jair Brown, who struggled. Pitch count for Hufanga, so Brown still came into the game, actually allowed a touchdown later on, but it was about the tone the 49ers set when they got off to the 24-0 lead. And Hufanga, I kid you not, was everywhere on tape. And Malik told me that the communication between he and Hufanga, because people discount how good Hufanga is. This is an all-pro. This is not just some guy that you can replace with anybody off the street. And he yesterday just looked comfortable. Back when we saw him return from his ACL tear in week 2, Talanoa, I think, was still testing out the knee, making sure everything was okay. He then tore his ligament in his wrist in week 3. So he's been out since week 3. He's been out for 2-3 months. I think over that time, his ligament trust strengthened in his knee. Like he allowed the knee, it was already fully healthy in week 3, but he built the confidence back while he was rehabbing the wrist. So he came out there with the club on his wrist and was just dominant, both through his communication and through his physicality. And that might have been the one secret ingredient that fixed the 49ers defense. Now, the pass rush is still weak without Nick Bosa. You could say that they had 7 sacks in this game yesterday, but Caleb Williams is a guy that just gets sacked a lot. I would still be a little bit worried about the 49ers pass rush, especially entering this game against the Rams. The Rams just dropped 44 on the Bills. So 49ers have a long way to go. That brings me to Dre Greenlaw, though, and he's going to be back on Thursday. First guy that I ran into on my way into the locker room yesterday was Dre Greenlaw, and I said, "Hey, Thursday?" And he just smiled and he said, "Yep." He nodded. He's going to be back for the first time since the Achilles tear in the Super Bowl. And if you talk about cohesion, you talk about energy, those are 2, and communication, those are 3 things that Talanoa Hufanga brought to the table. I think Greenlaw is going to bring those to the table on Thursday. And who knows, we're going to talk to Kyle Shanahan at 12:30. Maybe Nick Bosa is going to bring his share back to the fold as well, because he was already close this past week, or at least much closer than before. He was listed as doubtful on Friday. He wasn't listed as out. Maybe this week it's upgraded to questionable, and he does play in this really, really important game against the Rams. Anyway, let's take a look at Dolores Park. I can grab this. You like watching Dre Greenlaw, Margo? I know that you got super excited when I said that he...
Well, yeah, he's so fun. He's really explosive. He's great.
We're moving. Everybody, type in your questions. This is our morning live. We decided to do it from Dolores Park, and everybody's got their dogs out. What a morning. I love it. Here's the big statue. The Liberator of Mexico, Manuel Hidalgo. You know, San Francisco's got its Liberty Bell down at the other end.
Mm-hmm.
Before the game against Philadelphia last year, I predicted that the 49ers would beat the Eagles because both cities have a Liberty Bell, but San Francisco's is not cracked.
Is it older, though?
Probably not. Well, it could actually. That one could be a 1700s bell as well. I suppose. But this is always a really good view from out here. All right, type in your questions. Let's analyze some 49ers football. Is there any way to make the playoffs? Asked James.
Valid question, James.
Very valid question. So here's the thing. The Seattle Seahawks play the Green Bay Packers and the Minnesota Vikings over the next 2 weeks. And the 49ers are down 2 games to the Seahawks. The Packers, Vikings, and Lions are a combined 28-3 against teams not named the Packers, Vikings, and Lions.
Whoa.
They have just dominated the rest of the league. And the Seahawks have to play the Packers and the Vikings next. It's in Seattle, both of those games. But I absolutely think that there's a good chance that Seattle loses both of those games. In which case, if the 49ers win against the Rams and then against the Dolphins, they could be tied for first place by the time we look up. Like, blink once and it could be a tie division. So it's definitely possible.
Map this out on a spreadsheet of like all the possible scenarios.
Yeah. So that I think it's very possible. I don't think that it's likely because you need a lot of things that work in your favor. But
You want me to get you?
oh yeah, I'll stand over here.
There you go.
Perfect. I think it's possible, but it's not likely until you get the permutation of stuff to happen. So it's like you're relying on a parlay, but beating the Bears as badly as the 49ers did lends some hope to the 49ers going on a run. And that's the first thing that needs to happen. The 49ers need to go on a run. I personally think they probably need to go 5-0 over the last 5 games. They're 1-0 now. Some people are saying, well, 4-1 might work. It might work. You might start talking about a 4-way tie in that regard, but just worry about your own games. Go on a run. And guess what? The 49ers are favored by 2 points against the Rams. So they're favored for Thursday night. This reminds me of some of those massive games where the 49ers had their backs up against the wall. It was prime time. The Rams were coming into Levi's Stadium. The 49ers won one of those in 2021. Even in 2020, they beat the Rams in front of an empty stadium at Levi's. In 2022, they got another one of those big wins. 2023, they didn't play the Rams till week 18 with Darnold. That's when you sat in the first row with Jamie and Jen.
Yeah, that was
2023. Fun. Yeah, that was cool. So, we have any good questions coming through?
Someone earlier had asked about Bosa. Is Bosa going to be back on Thursday?
There's a chance, and I'll find out in more certainty over the course of this week. We talked to Kyle Shanahan at 12:30 today. I mean, just imagine if Greenlaw, Hufanga, Bosa are all back. I don't know where Trent Williams is at. He was in a knee scooter at the facility last week. So I don't think you can count. I know he wants to get back, but I think it's really, really important for Trent to get close to 100% because he's tried to play through stuff before and then it lingers or he's not as effective as he can be. And Jalen Moore is playing really good football right now. I mean, 49ers put up 38 points on the number 5 pass defense in the league yesterday. It's not like a lot of people are saying, oh, the Bears, they're terrible. Of course, the 49ers did this. Offenses have not been doing that to the Bears. 38 is 38, and that was against Jalen Johnson playing cornerback. He's one of the best in the league. Against Montez Sweat, who ran over Colton McKivitz early. That was the one sack that Brock Purdy took. But Jalen Moore on the left side has been good. Unfortunately, they lost Ben Barch yesterday, high ankle sprain, so he's probably going to be out for several weeks. Might need to make the playoffs for him to be back. But Aaron Banks could return at that left guard spot, and I thought that Spencer Burford did a decent job in his place. So I think the 49ers have what it takes to win a few of these games. Do they have what it takes to win all 5 of the last 5 games? I don't know yet. I think a lot of that's going to be, Nick Bosa needs to come back sooner rather than later. The pass rush just isn't the same without him.
Can you kind of dive into details more on the Guerendo injury? I'm butchering his name.
The Guerendo, not the Guerrero injury. Guerrero Street's right back there.
Over.
Yeah. The Guerendo injury.
The injury, yeah. What
Foot
does
sprain.
That look like?
I don't know when exactly it happened. I didn't have a chance to really talk to Isaac after yesterday. I actually had a chance to talk to Christian McCaffrey after the game. He was over by his locker. For the first time ever, that I can remember, Christian McCaffrey is in the locker room without a crowd of people trying to talk to him. Kind of the forgotten man at this point. It's a little sad at this point of the season. But Isaac Guerendo is Mr. Popular now. Everybody's trying to talk to Isaac, and it's a foot sprain. And normally when a guy is severely hurt, they're not going to be talking to the media. They're not even going to be in there when the media's in there. They're usually already getting training, treatment for the injury. So it's a foot sprain. Kyle Shanahan wasn't even sure if it was a foot sprain. He might have just been taken to the locker room, and he walked off to the locker room for precautionary reasons. So we'll see how it feels today, and that's why we talked to Shanahan at 12:30. But I do think that I do think that you could be optimistic about that prognosis. And oh my goodness, you saw the first play when Guerendo came out of the backfield. It was a tale of two plays really that we watched. First, there was the one where Guerendo came out of the backfield, his third down. Purdy finds him, hits him in stride. You know, Isaac used to play wide receiver. He was a wide receiver before he was a running back. And then there was the second play, which wasn't as pretty, where he just got pancake. And I think that was a lesson to the 49ers. This guy is better running a pass pattern and catching the ball than he is pass blocking. And that's typically the case with younger players, rookies like that. It takes, Margot, how hard it is to pass block in that situation. Those linebackers, they weigh like 230, 240. It's like standing there and waiting for a 230 or 240 pounder to take up a full head of steam. It's like, I'm not 230 or 240, I'm like 210. But if I just like ran straight toward you right now, you'd have to hold your ground. Poor Isaac Guerendo, how to do that. I get it, he's 220, so he's not the lightest running back. He's on the stronger end, but rookies tend to have a little bit more trouble with technique-wise in those pass protection situations. So run Isaac Guerendo out on patterns. I think it's going to end
What's going to be the key for the Niners to beat the Rams on Thursday?
Kyle Shanahan is going to need to not go home, sleep on his couch, maybe not sleep a lot, and because Sean McVay is going to be doing the same thing. I mean, both of these guys' wives are going to hate them this week because they're not going to show up at home.
Playing chess, not checkers.
And they're going to be, I'm serious about this. The Thursday night games, the preparation for Thursday night games is so intense because you have so little time. Shanahan and McVay are good friends, but you always want to kick the crap out of your good friend in a situation like this, especially given the history. And they are going to be, both of these guys had looked dead in the water at points earlier this season.
Oh, sad. Leonardo DiCaprio reference.
Oh, yeah. Well, yeah, I guess he was dead in the water.
He's dead in the water in
That was cold water,
Gatsby.
though.
He's dead in the water in Titanic. He's almost dead in the water in The Revenant.
The Revenant was a terrible movie. Convince me otherwise.
Sidetrack.
But anyway, both of them look, like they didn't have answers as coordinators earlier this year. And yesterday, both of them resurrected. I mean, dead in the water to alive again. I mean, it was, McVay put up 44. His Rams put up 44 on the Bills. And you saw what Shanahan, 38 on a good Bears defense. So now they get to face each other, and it's going to be a race to, maybe it's a race to 30, maybe it's a race to 35, I don't know. But that means that when you're looking for every single schematic advantage, you're not going to be getting much sleep. That's why they build these couches into their offices, because you don't go home on weeks like this. So it's going to mean a whole lot to both guys on Thursday.
Is Brock okay after that hit yesterday where his neck snapped back?
He said that he was just kind of shocked when he was laying down on the ground, and then he
Little
said that he
whiplash.
felt okay after. So we'll see how he feels today. Sometimes like adrenaline takes a few hours to wear off. With Brock's shoulder after the Seahawks game, everybody was under the impression that the night of the game he was feeling fine. Then he came into the building and it hurt the next day. So it kind of surprised everybody. So hold your breath.
Okay. Cool.
Good? We want to continue walking here?
Pretty good, yeah.
Yeah. Let's make our, we can go, let's see what's best. I think we should go
Let's go
down this way.
That's where the sun is.
Yeah, Margot also always wants to go where the sun is. So we'll give you guys a look at that sun, pan over, and start walking down. All right, guys, more questions.
Someone did ask if I was a 49ers fan, which I can confirm, yes.
Very briefly, Lombardi himself. Cameo.
I'm not normally a sweatshirt girl, but I'll make an exception.
She said she's cold, but it's a lot warmer than where you came from.
Look, people who want the thermostat at like 65 and then the other people who want it at 70 find each other and marry each other. David is 65, I am 70.
I thought you liked it a little bit colder at night, though.
Yeah, that's just because I get a little hot at night, you know? But that's not uncommon.
All right, we're ready for your questions, guys.
Someone was asking about Moody and Ward playing.
Mooney Ward.
Mooney
probably.
Ward.
Yeah,
Golly,
Charvarius
look at
Ward,
me,
who...
butchering. I haven't had my caffeine.
You had your tea. What are you talking about?
I don't think there was caffeine in that jasmine tea. I'm normally an Earl Grey girly, but they didn't have any, so I think I had an uncaffeinated, decaffeinated tea, which is why I'm butchering all these names. I'm usually a lot better.
I've got just the spot for you. We're gonna walk up. We'll walk all the way up to this coffee shop, and we'll get you more caffeine. So more questions. So somebody asked about Mooney Ward. So Mooney, that's Charvarius Ward. He is he unfortunately lost his 1-year-old daughter, Amani Joy, and he has been playing. And I think it's admirable that he has been playing, but obviously it has, I think, impacted his play. It's a tough situation for Charvarius Ward. So, I mean, and it's one of those situations where if you're the 49ers, you're thankful and you're impressed that he has been able to take the field, because it's just a horrific tragedy.
Did Trent Williams play yesterday?
No, Trent Williams is still hurt, and obviously Trent Williams is going through something very similar.
As well.
Yeah. So that's, I mean, it's all taken an emotional toll on the 49ers. And if this team does make the playoffs, I think that, I mean, that will be a massive accomplishment in and of itself if they are able to make the postseason. All right, I'm ready for some more questions, guys. Let's go.
How injured are the Rams?
The Rams are healthier now than they were in Week 3 when they beat the 49ers, which is probably semi-alarming for San Francisco. We can cross right here.
Okay.
So that to me, the worst loss of the season for the 49ers
was the Rams game?
In Week 3, because the Rams were so beaten up that week. Do you want to go on the sunny side?
I'll go up here. That's fine.
Cool. We'll cross over here in a second. Yeah, they didn't have Puka Nacua, they didn't have Cooper Kupp, and somehow the 49ers managed to lose to the Rams back in Week 3. Margot, you were at SoFi that day. You saw Jawan Jennings explode.
Yeah, that was one of Jawan's better games this season. I mean, he's had a great season, but I think he really came alive in that LA game, Week 3.
Here's the J train. How many of you rode the J to school or work back in the day? Or ride it now? Maybe somebody's on the J train watching us. It's going up to Noe Valley. Remember when we went to the Noe Valley Farmers Market?
Yeah, that was fun.
You were hangry, but then we found you that breakfast sandwich.
I'm a big farmer's market
Bandit
gal.
was good today, by the way.
Bandit was really good.
I'm still thinking about that. We're right by Mission High School.
You didn't even order your own sandwich. You just had a bite of mine.
Yeah, I'm still, I guess I can't call it a fast because
No, you had to take
eaten.
advantage of the marriage food tax.
But
which means what's yours is mine and what's mine is yours, and
I didn't have to have a full sandwich, which was nice.
you always get a bite. But I always get a bite.
All right, guys, I'm ready for more.
He's ready for more.
Chris says if they play like they did yesterday, they're a championship football team. Absolutely.
Yes.
Hey,
yes, Chris, you're right.
Getting up on anybody in the NFL 24-0 is impressive. You have to have something really good going on to lead that much against any NFL team. Because every single guy on an NFL roster was one of the top 3 players on their college team. So there's so much talent. It's really hard to separate yourself.
It's an elite
league. Yep. So this is where we're going, Margot.
Where?
This place called Spro. They're gonna have some good tea for you.
Yay.
Right on the corner. So we're gonna go ahead and sign off here. Let's answer a couple questions and then we'll go. Is Cowing better at punt or kickoff return? I think Cowing's a better punt returner. Do I think George Kittle played well yesterday? He had
Kittle had 151 yards.
Yeah,
Yeah,
Kittle was
I think
awesome.
Kittle had a great game. He was on.
No, it's not time to bring in another wide receiver. You got to give Ricky Pearsall a chance to integrate. The guy got shot in the chest. I mean,
It's not funny.
it's not funny at all, but the fact that people are like, why isn't Ricky Pearsall doing anything?
The fact that that's a real thing that happened is kind of crazy.
Yeah, so the fact that he's on the field right now is miraculous.
A miracle.
Another J train waiting for us. How nice of him. And now we're going to step into Spro. Getting up on any team 24-0 and only allowing 4 yards for the half is an elite team. I think that's a great point. 320 yards for the 49ers in the first half and 4 yards for the Bears. All right, Margot, step in, get your tea. Look at that. She's got the deli board sweater. We'll talk to you guys soon.
Split ends.